Hi, I'm B from Nectar Mechanics, and on today's video, we're going to be taking a look at everything I made in 2022. So, in this video, there's going to be a sort of format. We're going to take a look at the project in question, we're going to take a look at what I learned from it craft-wise, and what I learned from it YouTube-wise. And I think this is going to be a slightly longer one, but a fun one, so that I can just have a look at what I've done and see it all laid out. We're starting off right where it began with the Minecraft laser cut chest. So the laser cut chest was a fun learning experience. I got to do stuff with laser cutting with the wood and everything at my local makerspace, and I had to learn how to make it all fit together 3D and everything, using tabs, learning the correct thicknesses of stuff and whatever. It didn't turn out quite how I wanted. The hinge stuff messed up quite a bit because I was planning on using like door hinges, but they looked really ugly because I planned it wrong. Once I weathered it and painted it and everything, it looks pretty nice. It's got the little silver buckle and everything. It's got an opening closing hinge even if it's not perfect. And for a first go on YouTube in general, it did really well. I got about 100 odd, 150 odd views on it, and that's purely because I put Minecraft in the title, let's be honest. But, I mean, it worked. So overall, Minecraft chest video, yeah, not a bad first start. Next up is the Minecraft Cybertron diorama, and that's where most of you have subscribed from. It's on like 800 odd views now, which is my most viewed video on the channel, and it's weird because I don't think it's my best work. The actual build itself, I didn't fully like the end results. See, this is back when I was trying to do it weekly, because everything I'd seen in starting a new channel was going, do it weekly, do it regularly, just do that. As you can tell, with this being the only video done in December after like months apart, that routine didn't stick. But because of that, I was stressed with myself of trying to get it done, and I didn't like how it looked. I got very frustrated with myself with it, but I don't care anymore, because I've seen this video grow and reach so many people. I've gotten so many lovely comments and feedback on that video from people all around the world, and it's been such a lovely experience, and I hope that I will get more videos that reach and connect people in that way. So overall, it looks pretty on camera, maybe not so much in person. Didn't really enjoy building it, loved the end result of it. Not bad for my second video. Coming up at number 3, we have the foam Iron Man helmets, and the only video where I didn't have a completed finished product. This was like unfinished, and I knew it because I was planning on doing it as a series. As you can probably tell, it's the only part of the series. I'll explain a bit more of that in a minute, but as the build itself, it was so great as a learning experience because I got to learn not only a little bit more of how to use Blender, which I now could say that I am fluent in. I know how to use Blender, which is such an awesome skill to have, the 3D modeling software. This particular one, I didn't model it myself, I took someone else's model, but this is meant to be like a teeny weeny action figure, and I figured out how to scale it up, do all of that, and then cut the 3D model into 2D templates, which then I could make out of cardboard or foam, whatever I want. It's the best skill to have. Any huge expensive 3D printed cosplay that I want to do, I can now do out of cardboard and wood filler and stuff and do it for a fraction of the cost. I did mess up the scaling both times. I'm gonna have to get better at learning how to do that. I need to use calipers or scanning or something on me to get it right. But I am planning on going back to this project. Did it perform well? It's alright. YouTube-wise, there. It was one of the last videos I did with iMovie instead of DaVinci Resolve, and I'm really glad that I decided to swap, because iMovie is very good for beginners, but DaVinci Resolve is way better and way easier once you know what you're doing. So yeah, maybe don't want to do unfinished projects again in other videos, but for this one, it seemed to work good enough. Number 4, we're doing the Cyber Bunny, and this was the beginning of my obsession of using air dry clay to make everything. I had been watching a lot of a YouTuber called North of the Border, and he does amazing sculptures. I can only dream of getting to his quality. I was obsessed with his work. It was amazing, and I wanted to do my own. So when I was asked to do a birthday present, originally as like a foam helmet, but then we decided something smaller would be better, I was like, aha! I can do it out of clay! I can learn these things! And so I got to do a foray of doing proper stuff like the wire armatures, the tinfoil techniques to, you know, use less clay, learning how to sculpt in general. And it was the most fun I'd had in ages, and it was the first time that I actually felt like, hey, I'm learning stuff. I'm learning how to be a better maker. Looking back on it now, it's definitely a first sculpture. You know, I would change a lot of how I did in terms of just trying to get the proportions closer, but actual techniques-wise, perfect. YouTube-wise, Transformers Tuesday is now what's coming up next, and this was a fun but weird experiment. I am an obsessed Transformers fan. It's my favorite hobby, it's my favorite thing. I know way too much lore. Yeah, getting to do nerdy reviews of my own was fun, but I didn't know if they fit on the channel. But I managed to find some new subs from it, you know? So, do you want it back? I could do it again. I'll make it an obvious different thumbnail thing. Should I make a separate channel? Let me know in the comments. Do you want this, or do you not care? Should this be only make a channel and robots, make a channel and a robot channel? Do you care? They were relatively fun to make, and they were in a sense of I wanted to script them, which made it a little bit trickier, but a bit better worded, and I was able to do them weekly, so they're easier to make than craft videos where I actually have to make something. Overall, fun experiment, more than willing to try it again, but only if you guys actually want to see it. Chewbunker. Now, we're back to clay, back again, and let me just say, doing furry things is a lot easier because you don't have to worry about keeping the clay all smooth, getting the right texture. You just stab it with a knife a lot and it looks nice. It was very fun to make something from my childhood. That Lego game I remember playing when I was like 5. And even though it's just basically Chewbunca, like, I don't even know his real name. Even though it was basically Chewbacca but with bead eyes, it looked exactly how my brain envisioned it, and it was the first time I started to get proportions a bit closer on clay. The Cyber Bunny had like the head wrong. Chewbacca was just right. And sure, it's my own interpretation. It's the Lego one, but realistic, but kind of not. He just came out really well. Even the colors are right. I have no issues with this model. It's one of the few things where I'm like, I wouldn't change anything. YouTube-wise, it did all right, but this is the sad unfortunate part of doing YouTube, is that if you want to do well, you have to play to the algorithm. I know everyone says that. It's depressing, okay? I want to do my own fun things, and even though it's, you know, Star Wars-y or whatever, it doesn't appeal to Star Wars fans. It's something random and weird. But if you add Minecraft or Spider-Man in the title, blah, it does amazing. It does fantastic. Apparently Transformers as well. The desired diorama showed that, but I don't know, you gotta think about who this video is for, and for this, since it was yet another birthday present, it was for that person. So I didn't really care, but in terms of like carrying on the channel and making it grow, it didn't really help too much. I enjoyed it though, so I don't care. Medieval axolotl cat armor. That's a mouthful. This was a weird project because it was the first one I did where I began what I'm currently dealing with now, which is starting multiple projects before I finish one. See, last year I used to do it where I would start multiple projects at the same time, and that meant I never finished anything. So when I started the YouTube channel, I made it a rule. You don't get to start a new project until you finish the previous one. But Chewbunca was a birthday present, and I was taking too long to make the Axle armor, so that had to be put on hold. I had to do Chewbunca first, or I was gonna run out of the deadline, right? Which meant that I had my first unfinished project that I'd sort of abandoned in over 6 months. And it felt like I had so much anxiety, right? Am I going to abandon it forever? In the end, it looked decent. The weathering looked nice and everything, but it also looked very cardboardy and I should have sanded it more. But in the end, I got to the stage where it's like, I don't care. I just want it done. And I couldn't even make it fit on the cat. Overall, I like it. It's a fun display piece, and it's a very wordy, fun, clickbaity title and whatnot, but it was a bit of a slog to get to the finish line. Junkyard Diorama. The diorama build number 2. And this was a fun one because I got to do really fun painting texturing with like the weathering and stuff. When I saw that the Cybertron diorama was doing so well, I thought, why not do another one, because it'll do good on YouTube and it will fill up my shelf. I was really happy with the editing style in this. Still, when I'm in my weird void phase, once I moved out of that, whatever, but like, you know, it looks really cool. It was really hard to get the paint to work at first because you need to build up lots of layers, and I'd used various bits of plastic and stuff, so I had to primer it. But eventually, after 4 coats, yes, 4, it started to look nice, and I could take bits off, I could sponge it and do various things with the towels and stuff. It was very fun. Now we're on to the Forgotten Robot cosplay. First video I did, Out of the Void, and I really love the weathering on the... I know I just said I love the weathering on the Junkion. This was really fun. Alright, I got to do sponging properly for the first time, doing all the different textures and stuff. And I got to do hands that are articulated and did the, you know, the Spock hands and stuff with all the various gears and bits of moss and stuff. And it was, again, my own concept, which doesn't do as well on YouTube, but it's really fun to make. And it looks like this weird sort of Power Rangers-y Dungeons and Dragons. I know Dungeons and Dragons doesn't have robots. It's got that old medieval vibe. No, Ghibli. Studio Ghibli. That's what it's going for. And I had the custom visor just done with Sharpies, which isn't great, but over here, looks nice, right? Cool background piece. I got to use screws and things. It was a cosplay competition thingy, which never happened. But I got to take cosplay I made to, you know, a group and show it off to a load of people. That doesn't happen very often, does it? Well, yes it does, that's what conventions are for. Anyways, I still got to enjoy it. Minecraft Train. This is the first time that I got to do something that was almost topical. It was relevant at the time, but isn't so much now. It was the Minecraft Live Train. They did the Minecraft Live trailer that was sort of getting everyone hyped up for it, 1.20 and everything. And they had the video with the frogs dancing, the goats and stuff, and I loved it so much. It's like the most funny video that I'd seen in ages. I was like, hey, I have the skills now to make that, let's do it. I got to reuse sponging techniques from the robot to do on the minecarts. I got to do clay stuff with the frogs themselves and the grass. It was just really, really fun. And because it was Minecraft, it did do well. And maybe not so much now that Minecraft Live is over and we've seen everything. This is before it happened, by the way. I think it was off by 2 weeks since the trailer came out, but no, a week? I was topical, I was close. This is like the closest I've been to actually doing something that was relevant and current. And it showed, it did well. It's on 200 something odd. And it only took like a week to get there as opposed to 6 months like other videos. So, yeah. And now, we're all caught up to my latest video, Frogs in a Jar, which was basically just doing more Minecraft frogs, but this time not square. And of course, I love my dioramas, how could you tell? So doing one in a jar that was like contained or whatever, really fun. Want to do some more of that. There were some things that I did that, you know, I should have learned from, like the Cyber Bunny stuff. The hot glue for the laser, I did it because it was transparent. Didn't really work. But then I did it again for the frog diorama for the water to make it transparent. But it looks so cute. I got to do like the same creature but in different poses as well. The tongue only snapped off once, so that's great. On the final step, I might add. Double super glue, it was fine. And it looks amazing, especially with the lights all around it. It's managed to sneak its way into my living room because everyone just seems to like it. And it was yet another in my series of everything's awesome and fun with clay, let's just do everything clay. And that catches us up. We're 10, 11 months of doing YouTube starting in 2022. It's a competitive space, you know? I'm a teen with, you know, minimal experience in half of this. This is me trying to teach myself so that eventually I can work at prop effects houses and stuff like that, right? That's the dream goal. And so I'm trying to do as much as I can to learn this now, hands-on, doing it. Because I can spend as much time as I want watching YouTube videos, but it's nothing to it but to do it, right? I'm not as skilled as I want to be. I have plenty to learn, and I intend to carry on next year. Next year I'm going to focus on CAD. I want to be designing my own transformers. My goal is to have 3D printed my own transformer that can transform. At least one, hopefully 2 or 3, we'll see. So yeah, focusing on CAD, that's going to be really fun. That's going to be really useful as well. Then I can start doing more intricate things. Like when I do my Iron Man cosplay, I can 3D model it myself and it'll be custom and it will be pristine because I can 3D model it, turn it to paper templates and do it out of cardboard. That's why I've done these particular projects. Every project I've done this year has either been to improve on a skill I already had or to learn a new one. Cyber Bunny, improving and working out new stuff with clay. Iron Man helmets, learning template creation. Dioramas, learning the painting techniques and stuff. Cosplay, learning how to fit the costumes to me and stuff with the Forgotten Robot and things. Everything's been for a purpose. Everything's been leading up to hopefully an eventual point where I can get hired for knowing how to do this. So, lots to learn, but for a first year, I've done pretty well. I've got 86 subscribers, nearly 100. That's really good for doing it for like just under a year, right? And especially when I upload very intermittently. So, thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it because that tells me that what I'm doing is good. And having nearly 100 people do that has just been the best feeling ever. So thank you. I feel validated. But yeah, I'm gonna carry on doing what I'm doing, hopefully learning, and who knows? Maybe we'll nearly have 200 subscribers next year. Let's hope so. So, I've been B from Nectar Mechanics. Catch you next time. Farewell!